All right, welcome to lesson 5.2, adding and subtracting decimals. The objective for this lesson is that I can add and subtract decimals. Let's start with adding. These steps are very similar to the ones we looked at in the pre-module review. There's just one extra step. We're going to fill in some zeros. So here's our first example problem. 0.425 plus 12.68. Our first step is to line up the decimals. So I'm going to set up 0.425, and then underneath that I'm going to put my second decimal. On the left we have 12, and on the right we have 6, 8. Notice how each number is kind of lined up with a buddy number. My decimals are lined up, my number in front of the decimals are lined up, my number behind the decimals are lined up, and my other numbers are lined up. That's important. Something that can also be helpful if you are a person that likes to draw a grid. To help you, now we have this nice little grid to help us make sure that we are adding things in each column. All right, put my plus sign and my line. Now we have to fill in zeros. Wherever there's a blank spot, we want to put a 0 in. So for example, right here, there's no number, so I'm going to put a 0. And right here, I'm going to put a 0. So each number now has a buddy. Next, we add one column at a time, and we carry our numbers if it's more than 9. So we're going to do 5 plus 0 is 5. 2 plus 8 is 10, so we bring down our 0 and carry our 1. 6 plus 4 is 10, 11. Bring down our 1, carry the other 1. 2 plus 0 is 2, plus 1 is 3, and 1 plus 0 is 1. And then we drop down our decimal, so we have 13.105, and I'm going to write that over here. That is our answer. Notice our decimal just came straight down. We didn't have to do anything else with it. Let's look at one more adding example. 3.008 plus 0.7. First, we line up our decimals. 3.008. And I'm going to go ahead and draw my grid before I add my next number because I think it helps me. So I'm going to draw here between each number. There we go. Make my decimal a little bigger so it's easier to see. Next, I'm going to put in 0.7. I'm going to put my decimal in first. I have a 0 in front of it and a 7 behind it. There's my plus sign. Next, we have to fill in our zeros. There's 2 blanks here, so I'm going to put a 0 here and a 0 here. We're going to add one column at a time and carry if it's more than 9. 8 plus 0 is 8. 0 plus 0 is 0. 0 plus 7 is 7, and 3 plus 0 is 3. Bring down our decimal, and this is our answer, 3.708. All right, adding is not so bad. The big thing that trips us up a lot is making sure that we're adding things in the right columns and keeping our decimal lined up. All right, let's look at subtraction. Notice these steps are also really similar. The first thing we want to do is again line up our decimals, fill in zeros, and then we're going to subtract and borrow instead of carry this time. So we have 6.8 minus 2.94. I'm going to put my first number on top, 6.8, and I'm going to draw in my columns. Zoop. And I'm going to put another column over here because I know that I've got an extra digit. Oops. Throwing my pen. So we have our decimal here. We're subtracting 2.94, so I'm going to put my decimal in. 2 comes before the decimal, 9 comes after, and then there's one more number. And we are subtracting, so make sure you get your subtraction sign. Next I'm going to fill in my zeros. There's a blank here, so I'm going to put a 0. And next we subtract, and we have to borrow if the bottom number is too big. I can't do 0 minus 4 because 0 is smaller than 4. 4 is too big. So I'm going to go next door to 8. I'm going to cross it out, and I'm going to make it a 7. And I'm going to take that 1 from 8, cross out my 0, and I'm going to make my 0 a 10. So we borrowed that 1 to put in front of the 0. 10 minus 4, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Now, 7 minus 9 I can't do because 9's too big, so I'm going to go next door and borrow 1 more. 6 becomes 5, 7 becomes 17. 17 minus 9, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. And if you notice that I have the dots on the number that I do to help me count and keep track of things. If you're interested in that, let me know, and I can show you how that works. All right, lastly, we have 5 minus 2 gives us 3. Bring down our decimal, and our answer is 3.86. All right, let's look at one more example. We have 0.607 minus 0.423. First number goes on top, 0.607, and I scrunched those a little bit, but that's okay. I'm going to draw in my grid. I'm subtracting 0.423. In front of the decimal is a 0. Got my decimals lined up there. And then I have a 4, 2, 3. Add my subtraction sign because we're subtracting, and my line. Now notice there's no zeros to fill in. There's no blank spaces. These ones line up perfectly, so we don't have to fill in any zeros. So we're going to just jump into subtracting and borrowing. 7 minus 3, 7, 6, 5, 4. Again, using my touch points to help me. 0 can't subtract 2 because 2's too big, so we're going to go next door and borrow 1 more. 6 becomes 5. 0 becomes 10. 10 minus 2, 10, 9, 8. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 0 minus 0 is 0. And we bring down our decimal. So our answer is 0.184. All right, go ahead and jump into your practice and let me know if you have questions.